It's time for good energy, and I'm Dr. Julie, and welcome to Bodyful Day 235. We are talking about allergies in the senses, and today we're talking about the sense of taste. This is day 5 of allergies in the senses, and we're going to talk about how the sense of taste can be both stressor and good energy in when we're dealing with allergies. All right, let's start with a deep breath in. And release. Our next deep breath in, we're going to try to expand in the belly, expand in the chest, expand in the sinuses. And when you do all those three and you really feel like your body has expanded completely, you will feel like you want to rock backwards. And what happens is that sacrum just kind of tucks a little bit. You don't purposely have to tuck it. The sacrum will do that on its own. All right, let's take a deep breath in. And release. And now, since we're talking about allergies, the senses, and we're talking about the sense of taste, I want you to breathe into any taste-based allergies that you have, that you know you have, that soon or soon after you put them in your mouth, you definitely realize that was not the thing I was supposed to eat. And for those of you with peanut allergies, I am sorry, because that usually means an anaphylactic response. But for some of us, it's just a mild switch. So let's take a deep breath in. And release. So today we're talking about allergies in the senses, and we're talking about how the sense of taste can be used to get us good energy to heal from allergies. So remember, energy to heal from allergies equals good energy and minus stressors. And many times when we think about the sense of taste, we think about how it's related to an allergy component. And there are some interesting allergens, not just peanuts, but we can have small allergic reactions and large allergic reactions that are centered around the sense of taste. Every once in a while, strawberries can kind of produce a little bit of a dappling around the face, a little bit of dots. And I see this in a lot of people where they're like, I just had kind of a little bit of hives. And the only thing I can remember was that I was eating a lot of strawberries. For some people, ripe, fresh pineapple can trigger numbness and tingling on the tongue. And that is a sign that you have a small allergy to bromelain. And bromelain is interesting because it is a very commonly used enzyme in digestive enzymes. So people who take bromelain to help digest their food, if they can't eat pineapple, that makes things a little on the interesting side. So there are a lot of taste-based things that you can, we can talk about the anaphylaxis. So we can talk about people who are anaphylactically sensitive to peanuts, or to onions, or to tomatoes, or to eggs, and how as soon as you put them on your mouth, there is an instant switch in the brain. And that is because as soon as you put things on the tongue, the brain-tongue connection, the brain reads the chemical signature and says, yeah, that's fine, let's process it. Or it reads, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. Let's shift into high allergy, high stress mode. And so one of the things that you can do while you're working through this, if you have foods that you are sensitive to, not to the point that it produce anaphylaxis, but that you notice that, if I eat pineapple, it has a tendency to make my tongue numb. Or when I eat tomatoes, I get a little bit of a rash. What you can do is that you can look at those foods and say, okay, well, what happens if I cook them? What happens if I eat them raw? Raw tomatoes with their skins on has a significant effect in terms of causing allergen responses versus cooked tomatoes. Cooked tomatoes, a lot of their enzymatic action, which is usually what we're looking at, the enzymatic action of acidic foods. So if we're looking at pineapple and tomato, if you can heat up and get rid of some of the enzymatic action, then the allergen component has been reduced. Same thing holds for pineapple. Excuse me, we've got some ambulance going past. Pineapple's the same thing. I have a lot of patients that I will say, hey, pineapple is great to help with the gut. They say, causes my tongue to get, yucky. And so one of the things that I do, somehow Siri is thinking that she needs to be on. One of the things that I do is I will have them switch to canned pineapple versus actual pineapple. Hey, I'm gonna click that, hope that she just goes back to sleep. No, I don't want you on it. Okay. So anyway, canned pineapple is actually better to process than raw pineapple for some people because of that enzymatic component. So one of the things you can do when we're working at allergies in the sense of taste, we're working with minor food allergies that we break out a little bit in hives, or our tongue gets a little numb. We can try them cooked versus not cooked. We can try them with various spices, pepper, cinnamon, all sorts of heating spices that kind of have a tendency to calm some of the intensity of those foods. Now, I talked about originally, when I talked about allergies in the senses related to kinesthetic back on Monday, I talked about the importance of molybdenum. Molybdenum-based foods are really good for working with allergens, but one of them is actually really good to work with clearing an allergen from the system, and that is cereal grains. So we're looking at things like oats, we're looking at things like wheat or rye or barley, a little bit of rice. Those things that have a little bit of fiber and have a tendency to kind of pull stuff out as they go around the gut are actually very helpful, and they're high in molybdenum. Now, your dark greens are going to be your best. Your legumes are going to be also very high. It's found in beef liver and dairy as well. So when we're looking at how to soothe allergens in terms of the body with taste, we're looking at what kind of tastes can we bring in that help nourish your histamine or allergen response. What helps you dampen that and not go out with a panicked response to those foods. Now understand that we're not looking at anaphylaxis, because that is its own separate beast. But I wanted to point out the fact that if you are not eating good foods and you are allergic to, if you're allergic to peanuts, if your energy to heal is really low and you're eating peanuts, it's going to have a worse reaction than if your energy to heal is high and you're eating peanuts. You're still going to have an anaphylactic response, but if there are less stressors going on in your life, you are not going to respond as heavily. You'll be able to come out of it a lot more easily. But then one might actually think that if you had more energy to heal, you would be you would have the energy to pay attention to your food just a little bit better. Because we all know that when we're stressed and not paying attention to things, we just kind of put food in our mouth and we don't pay attention to what's going in as much if we had more time to relax and pay attention to those things. All right. So, enough of me babbling about taste and these senses related to allergies. Let's finish this off. Take a deep breath in and release. I'll see you back here tomorrow for day 6. Take care.